Now, I've mentioned a couple of times in the course, situations, hypothetical situations where you get a bunch of web developers in a room and ask them a question and a fight starts. And I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I've been in a lot of meetings where different people are so confident in the way they've done things in the past that they think that you're, some sort of idiot to go any other way than that. And that happens quite a bit. You've probably bumped into those type folks, or you may be one of those type folks. We all tend to have that tendency. Now, the reason I'm saying all that is we're about to talk about passport authentication. And passport authentication really brings out some interesting responses in people. And I really want to be honest about this. I want to kind of bring real world into the classroom here. And I just want to warn you, passport authentication really draws the ire out of some people because first of all, we're trusting Microsoft. Now, I'll be quick to tell you, I think Microsoft's a cool company. They've done some absolutely fantastic things, and I like their software. But there's more than enough negative press out there about Microsoft and security issues. They're working hard to try to correct them. There still are some security issues, and there still are plenty of situations where, you just wonder what's going on in Redmond some days. But when you look at how complex this is, and where this came from, and where it's headed, I think Microsoft's doing a pretty good job. However, you're going to have to get on top of security and stay on top of it yourself. And keep in mind, there are some good days and some bad days with Microsoft in this issue. But I think if you'll investigate it, everybody out there is having security issues at one point or another. As long as we keep making 14-year-olds who know how to hack, we're going to have security issues. But you've all met the people that the minute you mention the word Microsoft, they absolutely go berserk. And so those folks tend to not like passport authentication. So be careful who you talk about this around. But with passport authentication, we're going to use IIS set on anonymous authentication because we just want to pass through IIS and hand it out to Passport. Now, this is cookie-based, so we've got the same issues and concerns about cookies that we've had previously, and I won't drag you through that again. Now, the user requests a secure page in this scenario. And as soon as they do, if there's no cookie there, the user's redirected. Now, this is very similar to forms login, except that instead of being redirected to a form, they're redirected to passport.com. Now, when they get redirected to passport.com, they are asked for a user ID and a password. And basically, passport.com is a Microsoft-owned setup, and it will authenticate you, redirect you back to your original request. Okay, so obviously you need internet access here to do this. You're on a web server, and you're on a client browser trying to hit a web server, so you've probably got internet access. And then once authenticated, you're redirected to your original request. Now what's cool about this is that this is handled by Microsoft. Okay, so you're out of the business. Now there are some pros to this and some cons, and I want to put these up and talk about them. First of all, the big pro is you have a single login for all internet accesses, not just your own, but others out there on the internet. And that's cool. Anybody else who's participating in Passport, your Passport ID will get you in. There's a lot fewer administrative responsibilities for you. Now the cons, Microsoft charges for this. And that's a whole other issue. Anytime you mention sending Microsoft some more money, certain people out there absolutely blow a gasket on you. So there is a cost to this, and there are some other issues. And those other issues, it's just that feeling about Microsoft that some people have for one reason or another. Now I want to show you an example of passport authentication. I'm going to go out to the internet, and I'm going to go to music.msn. And if you've ever been here, you can actually listen to music over the internet. I'll go into some classical music. Notice I'm going to listen to a classical station, and I'll choose Relaxing Classics. Now what this is going to do, notice it's going to take me through a logon procedure, and notice there is no cookie on my machine for the internet radio, and so it's going to ask me to sign in to Passport. Okay? So to listen to the radio, I need to log in with a valid Passport account. Now, as it so happens, I have one of these. So notice it just redirected me to Passport login. Okay? Then I can type in an email address and a password, and I can go in then. And so I can type my email name and password here, and it will take me into the music. So I'm going to type mine, and then I'll put my password in. This is the Now notice, marktlong@hotmail.com. That's my email address that's been set up in Passport. And then I'll just type my password in here. Okay? And then I sign in. Now, notice I'm waiting for sign in to complete. It has completed. I tell it that I'm on broadband for my connection. And then I should start to get music in just a second. Now, anywhere I go on the internet, and I can use this in my private connections. You should hear music start up in just a second. And there's the music. Now, anywhere I go on the internet, I can use this authentication, which means anybody who's participating in Passport authentication, I can log into without any further administrative effort on my part. Now, love this or hate it, it's your choice. But it's some pretty cool technology. So if you're willing to spend a few extra bucks, I think it's like $900 a year. At one point it was, so maybe it's gone up or down, I'm not positive. But that's Passport. And so put that in your choices and determine whether that works for you.